one time when I was taking a mushroom trip, a common experience in psychedelics is the mind racing through a million thoughts that are hard to even keep up with. And at one point, my mind got so overwhelmed with that, and I got so sort of tired of that, really. I said in exasperation, gee, I just wish I could just still my mind, just stop the train of thoughts. And I did. And looking back on it now, I realized that I had sort of done in exasperation, I'd accomplished the goal of meditation, of stilling one's mind. But at the time, I was naive, I didn't think of it in those terms. I didn't think, oh, this is meditation, I just did it. And as a result, I think, with the naivete of this unself-conscious approach, I actually accomplished this amazing stillness of my mind. And so for about a half a second, so I actually achieved this extraordinary stillness by accident almost of my mind. And at that moment, I can only say my sense of myself, my bodily sense of what I was, expanded, almost like the inflationary model of the universe just immediately expanded out to my entire visual field. I was in an apartment and I could see the buildings, you know, a few blocks down, and that was how big my consciousness was. And I can't describe it in any other words than that. And it was scary. And I immediately began thinking again, and the stream of consciousness, of thoughts began again, and immediately my consciousness shrunk back down to its normal level. And that was an extraordinary experience that was also very transformative for me, because it made me feel like up until then, it was almost like a cup, a glass with a saran wrap, with plastic wrap tightly strung over it, so you didn't know it was there. And I'd been sort of skating on top of this my whole life, on the intellect. And that when you know, psychedelics is almost like taking the plastic wrap away and realizing you've got this whole incredible depth of glass, and you've just been skating on the surface. So that was a very, you know, helpful experience for me as I tried to make sense of what was happening to me as I began taking psychedelics as an adult. One last experience I'll mention to you that may be relevant. I take nutraceuticals and supplements, some of which are for cognitive development. And this is about 10 years ago, I had learned that choline was a cognitive enhancer, enhanced memory and cognitive functioning. So I thought I would take some lecithin, which is a precursor of choline, the night before a planned mushroom trip. So I did. I took 2 or 3 times my normal dose of lecithin. And the following day, I felt fine and normal. And when I took the mushrooms, as they came on, after about 45 minutes, the higher I got, the sleepier I got. Now, one of the first symptoms of mushrooms intoxication is yawning. So I anticipated that part. But this was not just yawning. This was